Isaiah Wynn hasn't played for the Miami Dolphins in almost a year, and no one really knows when he'll be back. It's frustrating, especially since he's such an important piece of the offensive line. There was hope that this week would be the time he'd get back on the practice field. But according to head coach Mike McDaniel, that's not happening just yet. Wynn's been on the physically unable to perform list since the summer, and still, there's no clear answer on when he'll return. You can almost feel the weight of the situation when McDaniel talks about it. Wynn's first season with the Dolphins came to a brutal halt on October 22nd when he tore his quadricep during a Sunday night game against the Eagles. That was a tough moment. And just when it seemed like he might be making progress, another setback hit. The injury recovery hasn't been smooth, and it's more than just the quad now. McDaniel was clear that there's been more to it. There were some lingering things that did come up that weren't based upon the quad injury, he said. This is the reality of football. You heal one thing, and suddenly something else flares up. It's never just straightforward. Wynn wants to play. You can feel that hunger from him. He's been working constantly, grinding day in and day out, hoping to return to the field. McDaniel talks about Wynn's drive with admiration. He's been so unbelievable, thirsting for what he just got started last year, McDaniel said. He's in this building nonstop trying to get himself back on the field. Imagine that, putting in hours and hours of work, trying to heal, trying to be ready, but still, the body has its own timeline. It's tough not to feel for the guy. You get the sense that McDaniel is pulling for him just as much as anyone. It's not just about wanting Wynn back for the team. It's about seeing him finally get that break, that return he's been working so hard for. The Dolphins need Wynn back. No doubt about it. When he was healthy, Wynn was a solid piece of the offensive line. He started the first 7 games at left guard, and he was good, really good. That's why the Dolphins brought him in as a free agent in the first place. This guy was a first-round pick for the New England Patriots, and he showed why during those early games. Losing him hurt, and having him back would make a huge difference, especially with the scrutiny the offensive line has been under all season. Every week, fans and analysts are talking about the O-line. When is it going to get better? When is it going to protect Tua better? Having Wynn back would go a long way toward answering those questions. But when will that happen? Nobody knows. McDaniel certainly doesn't. And he's not even going to guess. I don't know when that is, and I'm not going to venture to guess, McDaniel said. I don't want him thinking that way either, because he's had a long journey. This is about Wynn's health first and foremost. No one wants to rush him back and risk another setback. It's been a long road for him already, and it's not over yet. But in the last few weeks, there's been some optimism. It's been a very positive couple of weeks for him, McDaniel shared. They're hopeful. That's the word that keeps coming up, hope. If Wynn can get back on the field, the Dolphins could be looking at a much improved version of themselves. And isn't that what every fan wants? To see this team at its best? The offense has been thrilling at times, but it's also been inconsistent. The line is a key piece of that puzzle. You can't have Tua running for his life back there. You need protection. Wynn can provide that if he can just get healthy. If his body can just give him a break. The Dolphins could be a real threat if they can get their starting left guard back. Wynn's return could be the difference between this team being good and this team being great. But again, we're all just waiting. Wynn's waiting. McDaniel's waiting. The fans are waiting. It's a game of patience now, a slow march toward that moment when Isaiah Wynn can finally step back onto the field. And when that day comes, it's going to feel like a win, not just for Wynn, but for the entire Dolphins team. Until then, we wait.